Good morning and welcome to today's class. In my first class, I have explained you the pattern of ISC class 11 and class 10's examination pattern. But at that time, we did not have the exact marking scheme, but now the council has already sent the question paper pattern to all the heads of the schools. Therefore, a few minutes of today's class, I shall be making use of explaining the marking pattern of our board examination in class 11 as well as in class 12. Let's see the new pattern of ISC questions with effect from 2021. As you already know, the time allotted for your examination is 3 hours and the total mark is 80. So the first question is write a composition in approximately 400 to 450 words on any one of the following subjects. Altogether, there will be 6 questions that will be given, out of which the candidate may choose any one of the 6 questions that are given. One of the questions will be descriptive, another one will be narrative, you will have an argumentative topic, you will have a one-word topic, which is quite different from what you have already practiced in class 9 and 10. Maybe a question may be related to the topic, may be patriotism. You will have to write whatever you feel related to patriotism. So it can be like dreams, it can be sometimes like a photograph, violence, etc. can be the topic given. So you will have to explain that. Then you will have a question to express your views. A topic will be given where you will be expressing your own viewpoints. That is what question number 5 is. And the last question will be to write about a short story, an original short story. The starting of the stories will be given, the starting words of the stories will be given, and you will have to explain that story in your own way in 400 to 450 words. That is what question number 1 is, and it carries 20 marks. Last year's question paper, it was 25, but your batch onwards, you will be giving the board examination for 25 marks question. Question number 1 for 25 marks. Now let us proceed to question number 2. As I have already told you in my first class, question number 2 is divided into 2 parts. First part, A, that is related to a report writing, directed writing, and part 2 will be something related to a proposal writing. That's the way you have 2 parts in question number 2. So let's see, and both the questions are mandatory. Question A as well as question 2 are mandatory. Let's see, directed writing. It can be an article writing, it can be related to a book review, can be related to a film review, review of a cultural program, speech writing, report writing, personal profile, or statement of purpose. That is what SOP is, statement of purpose based on the suggested points. In the question paper itself, the points that are supposed to be explained by the student will be given. I'll read the pattern given by the council, an example given by the council for the report writing. Let us just go through part A of question number 2. You are Nitin or Nitha from XYZ school. You wish to start applying to various colleges for admission after your ISC examination. In about 300 words, draft your personal profile using the guidelines given below. Please remember, it was the personal profile that was asked here in the question paper. We have so many topics related to question number 2, part A. Any one of the questions will be given. So there is no choice of the question at all. As like that of question number 1, where you have multiples of choice. There are 6 questions, out of which you need to opt any one. At the same time, in question number 2, you will have no choice at all. And in the model question paper that they have given, they have asked for a profile writing. And see the points given there by the council. Your name, as well as years spent in the school you are passing out from. Academic interest and performance, another point. Cultural and sports activities you participated in. Positions of leadership held during your stay in the school. Your future plans and goals. One characteristic that you consider to be your strength and one characteristic that set you apart from the rest of the others. These are the points given in the question paper. You will have to develop it. What you are expected to do is all the points that are given starting from your name. So in the question paper, it is given you are Nitin or Nita. So you cannot write your personal name over there. When you draft or when you write the report or the personal profile, your name will be either Nita or Nitin. The rest of the details, the points that are given, you will be going on explaining, and that is what you are expected to do in first part of question number 2. Now let us move on to be part of question number 2, which is about the proposal writing. So let us see the proposal writing based on the given situation. A situation will be given to you and you will have to write a proposal related to it. Let me read a question given by the council, a sample question given by the council. As a member of the student council of your school, you wish to start an old cloth collection drive. These clothes are to be donated to an orphanage nearby. Write a proposal in not more than 150 words, stating the steps you would take to make it a success. So that is what a proposal writing is, and we will be learning about the proposal writing in detail in our coming days of classes. Now let us understand only so much. Question number 2, that is divided into 2 parts. Part A is related to a report writing or a proposal writing or a speech writing, a cultural programs review, film review or a book review, otherwise an article writing. Any one of these, one topic will be asked and that question carries 15 marks, and part B that carries 10 marks, and both the questions are mandatory. That is what is related to question number 2. Question number 2 carries altogether 25 marks, that is 15 plus 10. Now let's move on to question number 3. Question number 3 is related to the grammar part. Let's see answer sections A, B and C. Question number 3 is divided into 3 parts, A, B and C. Now let us proceed to let us move on to part A. Part A, in each of the following items, sentence A is complete while sentence B is not. Sentence A is absolutely complete sentence, whereas only the starting words are given in part number B. And complete sentence B, making it as similar as possible to sentence A. Write sentence B in each case. So that is related to grammar part. All the grammar part related to can be as soon as, no sooner than, that we studied in the last day. Active voice, passive voice. Any part of the grammar that can be included here. For example, they have given an example over here. All nooks and corners were checked, and the starting words are given as no. We have to start the statement, the second statement, by making use of the word no. So the answer will be no nook or corner was left unchecked. That is the example given, and you will have altogether 5 questions. For example, question number 1, he is so old that he cannot remember events of the past. And the starting word is given, he is 2. You know how to make use of adverb to. And we are going to revise all those rules as we proceed further. Question number 2, as soon as the bell rings, the children run out to play. This is one of the questions we have already solved in the last class. So we have to start the statement with the no sooner. Like that, we will have question number 3, question number 4 and question number 5. In this section, section A, you will have altogether 5 questions, and each question carries a single mark each. Each question carries 1 mark. So that is what the first part of question number 3. As I already told, question number 3 is divided into 3 parts. Part A we have already come across. Now let us move on to part 2 of question number 1. Part 2 is filling the blanks. Fill in each blank with a suitable word. Very clearly it is mentioned in the bracket. Do not write the sentence. Altogether you will have 10 questions here. Each question carries half marks each. Fill in the blanks with the phrasal verbs. That is what is meant by this particular question. Fill in each blank with a suitable word. An example, she turned dash the offer to work at the factory. To everyone's surprise, he turned dash at the party. He ran dash from home at the age of 10. I ran, dash my old friend in the marketplace. So like that altogether you will have 10 questions in part 2. Phrasal verbs or the preposition, that is what you are expected to fill these blanks with. And each question carries half mark each. Altogether 5 marks. Now let us proceed to part C in question number 3. Let's see what part C is. Fill in the blanks in the passage given below with the appropriate forms of the verb given in bracket. Do not write the passage, but write the verbs in the correct order. A passage will be given to the students, and there will be 10 blanks altogether. And a verb will be placed in between, in the brackets. Inside the bracket, a verb will be used. You have to fill the blanks with the appropriate tense of the verb, which you already had in class 10, but it was not like a passage that was given. You had 10 different sentences, 8 different sentences in class 10. Here, it won't be like that. You will have a whole passage and there will be altogether 10 blank spaces, and you will have to make use of the appropriate verbs in the blank space, and the question carries 5 marks. Like that, question number 3 carries altogether 15 marks. 5 marks for part B of the question, that is incomplete. You will have to fill them completely. That is almost like a doers directed. And part 2 is related to the phrasal verbs. And part 3 to make use of the correct forms of the verb. Like that, 3 sub-questions in question number 3. And each part carries 5 marks each. Now let us move on to the last question. That is question number 4, your comprehension passage. Let's see what question number 4 is. Read the passage given below and answer the questions A, B and C that follows. A passage will be given approximately of 500 words or 600 words. The students will have to read out the passage, and after that 3 sets of questions that are asked. The first one we see A. Let's see, go through the heading once again. Read the passage given below and answer the questions A, B and C that follow. There are 3 parts, part A, part B and part C. So let's see what each part is meant for. Part A, given below are 3 words or phrases. Find out the words which have similar meaning in the passage. As I have already explained you in my first class, certain words meaning from the passage is given. The meaning is given over there. You will have to find out the exact word from the passage. So altogether 3 words meaning will be given, or the phrases will be given. You will have to find out exact word from the given passage. That is what question number 1 is. There are 3 words and each one carries 1 mark each. Let us proceed to part B. Now, for each of the words given below, write a sentence of at least 10 words using the same word unchanged in form with a different meaning from that which it carries in the passage. This particular point also I have explained in my first class. Certain words or 3 words from the passage is given, 3 words from the passage is copied, and you are asked to construct sentences of your own, 3 different sentences of your own. But 3 points that are to be very clearly borne in your mind. The first part is sentence at least 10 words. These are the parts I have already bolded. When you construct the sentences, minimum there must be 10 words. And follow the second part, the same word unchanged in form. Form of the word should not be changed at all. And thirdly, with a different meaning from that which it carries in the passage. The word, when you construct the statement, will have a different meaning than the meaning of the word which is used over there in the comprehension passage. So, you will have altogether 3 words and it carries 3 marks. Now, the part 3 of this particular question is, let's see what is part 3. Answer the following questions in your own words as briefly as possible. Part A had 2 parts. Now we are moving to part B. So that is answer the following questions. 3 sets of questions will be asked. 3 questions will be asked and you will have to find out the answers for these 3 questions, and each question carries 2 marks each. Altogether 6 marks. And as we move to C part, that is C writing. So let's see what it is. Frame a summary in not more than 100 words. Very clearly observe that in not more than 100 words. You cannot write even 101 word. You have to write exactly 100 words or maybe 99 words, 98 words. It doesn't make any difference over there. But you cannot write more than 100 words. You cannot even attempt for answering the question in 101 words. Naturally, you will be framing or you will be writing your précis in the verb exactly 100 words or 1 or 2 words less than that of 100. That is what you are going to do here. Frame a summary in not more than 100 words. Failure to keep within the word limit will be penalized. Stressing the point, failure to keep within the word limit will be penalized. If you extend the number of words, you will be penalized. You will be required to write the summary in the form of a connected passage in about 100 words. So approximately 100 words. But at the same time, the first point over there is frame a summary in not more than 100 words. Very, very important. In not more than 100 words. So try to stop the précis either by 98, 99 or lastly by the 100th word. It should not be 101 words. This is what the pattern of our ISC class 11 and class 12 English language paper. Now in nutshell, let's see how it is given. Questions. Question number 1. Number of words should be ranging from 400 to 450 words. The approximate time that is allotted for a student to answer question number 1 is 45 minutes. You will have to stop by 45 minutes, otherwise you will not be able to complete the entire question paper. So therefore, make use of 45 minutes the maximum and the mark is 20. Question number 1 carries in 20 marks. So once again, let's see question number 1. Essay writing, composition writing. The number of words that the student has to make use of is 400 to 450 words. And the time that a student can make use of is 45 minutes approximately. And the total mark for question number 1 is 20. Let us move on to question number 2. As we already know that question number 2 is divided into 2 parts. Directed writing as well as proposal writing. So question number 2A, approximately 300 words and the marks is 15. 15 marks question it is. And B part of question number 2, the approximate number of words must be 150. And total for question number 2A and B, a student will be able to make use of approximately 55 minutes. And the second part of question number 2 carries 10 marks, which means both the questions together, it carries 25 marks. Now moving on to question number 3. There is no word limit at all because it is a grammar part. So the time that the child can make use is 30 minutes for question number 3 and the total mark is 15. Question number 3 carries 15 marks. And lastly, moving on to comprehension passage, that is question number 4. Word limit is not given, depends on the question in the question paper, and the time that a child can spend making use of this particular question is approximately 50 minutes and the question carries 20 marks. Like that, altogether we have 80 marks question and the total time allotted is 3 hours. So that is what our question paper pattern is, and this is what you will be following both in class 11 as well as in class 12. Hope you are clear of the question paper pattern. Now let us proceed to another part of grammar. In the last class, we saw the transformation of sentences from active voice to no sooner than, hardly even and scarcely even. Today, we will be moving to another part of the grammar, that is the voices, means active voice and passive voice. Let us proceed to 2 voices, 1 meaning. Let us come to the part. Voice means, let us know what voice is. First of all, let us know what voice is. The definition for voice is, voice means the mode of starting an action giving importance to the subject or the object. It's a mode of starting an action giving importance to the subject or the object. When we give more importance to the subject, the mode will be, the pattern will be, the procedure will be in active voice. And if we give more importance to the object, then we see that the sentences will be in passive voice. That's the difference between active voice as well as passive voice. Let's see now. When the subject is given more importance, or when the subject is the doer of the action. If the subject is the doer of action, which means subject is more active. When the subject is more active, then the mode of the verb is called the active voice. When subject is more active, subject is the doer of the action. the voice is in active voice. Whereas when the object is given importance, when the subject is given more importance, subject is the doer of the action, automatically the voice is in active voice. Whereas when the object is given important, then the mode of the verb is called the passive voice. If the object is given more important, the mode of the verb is called in a passive voice. That's the difference between active voice and a passive voice. Now let's move on. How can a sentence, an active voice sentence, be transformed into passive voice? So there are certain rules to be followed. Let's see them. Formation of passive voice. We can change a sentence from active voice to passive voice by making the following changes. By making some changes, we will be able to transform active voice sentences into passive voice. Let's see how is it done. The object in the active voice is made the subject in the passive voice. Object of the active voice will be changed to be the subject in the passive voice and vice versa. That is what the first point to be remembered. Once again, let's see. The object in the active voice is made the subject in the passive voice, which means the subject in the active voice is made as the object in the passive voice. That is what the first thing that you have to see. But before we go to that part, I hope you are all clear of what the subject is. You all know the definition of a subject, no? I hope everyone is clear of the definition of a subject. A subject means the person or thing we speak about is a subject. When I say a sentence, Ram kills a snake. For example, when I state a sentence, Ram kills a snake. Here the person or the thing that I speak about, here is the person. I speak about Ram. So therefore, Ram is the subject. And we know what the predicate is. What is spoken about the subject is the predicate. Kills a snake is the predicate in the subject, in the statement which I have already told you just now. So the person or thing we speak about is the subject, and what is spoken about the subject is its predicate. Now another part, how to find out an object from the sentence. As I have already told that object of the active voice turned to be subject there in the passive voice. How to find out the objects? In order to find out the objects, we have to ask two questions to the verb. What or whom? And if we have the answer, certainly that is what the object is. In reality, we have two kinds of objects. One is direct object and another one is indirect object. Which means, if the object is a person, we call it as indirect object. Object is a person, indirect object. If object is a thing, that is what is direct object is. That is the reason we used to ask two questions. One is what? Naturally, the answer will be a thing. So the object will be direct object. If the question answers for what, if what is answered, automatically the object will be direct object. And if we get an answer for the question whom, that will be an indirect object. So these are the two kinds of objects. One is direct object and another one is indirect object. If the object is a thing, it is called the direct object, whereas if the object is a person, it is called indirect object. Now let us move on to the second point, that is the passive voice of the verb is formed by adding some form of the verb to be to the participle of the verb, to the past participle. Past participle means the third form of the verb. One more point to be remembered. In passive voice, we will be making use of the past participle of the verb. That is only the third form of the verb. Whatever the tense of the active voice is, always in passive voice, verb will be in past participle. That is third form of the verb together with the verb to be form. Verb to be forms is, am, are, was, were, etc. are called verb to be form. So together with the verb to be form, we will be adding the third form of the verb according to the tense of the verb in the active voice. Depending on the tense of the verb in the active voice. You will be more clear of all these points as we proceed with the examples. Now let us move on to the examples. Let's move on with the examples. Starting from rule number 1. Let's see rules. First rule, simple present. When the tense of the statement of active voice in simple present, when you convert the statement into passive voice, you will have to make use of is, am, are, anyone among the three given, is, am, are, depending on the subject, plus third form of the verb, that is past participle. Let me repeat. if the given statement is in simple present, the sentence that is given in active voice is in simple present, we have to make use of is, am or are plus past participle, that is the third form of the verb. So now let us see. For example, Rama loves Sita. So we have the base form of the verb here, loves. So therefore the given statement is in simple present, and when the statement is in simple present, we have already seen that together with the verb to be, we have to add the past participle. The verb to be form in simple present tense is, am or are. Nothing else you will be able to use here if the given statement in the active voice is in simple present. You will be making use of either is or am or are plus the third form of the verb, that is past participle. So as we saw the example here, Rama loves Sita. Loves, the second form of the verb is used. So the given statement is in simple present. Now let us proceed to the rule. The first rule that we saw was object of the active voice turned to be the subject in the passive voice. Here Sita was the object. So that object turns to be the subject over there in the passive voice. So Sita, and immediately after the subject we make use of a verb to be form. That point to be very clearly kept in your mind. Immediately after the subject, verb to be form. So immediately we made use of verb to be form, that is, the subject being singular. Naturally you will have to make use of the singular form of the verb, that is why Sita is and past participle. Verb to be plus past participle. That is what the general rule that you have already come across. So first we made use of Sita, that is a subject. Object of the active voice tend to be subject over there in the passive voice, and the subject being singular is third form of the verb, that is loved by Rama. Rama, which was the subject over there in the active voice, turned to be the object here in the passive voice. That is what the first rule is. If the given statement is in simple present, the rule to be applied to change it into passive voice is, am or are plus the past participle of the verb, third form of the verb. The other rules are common. Object of the active voice turned to be the subject over there in the passive voice, and subject of the active voice turned to be object over there in the passive voice. That is general rule for all the tense. And here we saw the given statement was in simple present, and the statement being simple present, we made use of the object Sita turning to be the subject in the active voice is loved by Rama. Let's see one more example given here. We clean our rooms. Here also verb is clean. Base form of the verb is used. We clean our rooms. So first we find out the object. What do we clean? We clean our rooms. So that is what the object is. We have already seen we ask two questions to the verb to get the object. What or whom? So here we ask the question what. What do we clean? Immediately we have the answer our room. So therefore our rooms turns to be the object. And that object changed to be the subject over there in the passive voice. So therefore our rooms are, because subject is plural here. Earlier in the previous sentence we made use of is because subject was singular. Sita was singular. So therefore we made use of is. Whereas here our rooms is the subject. Verb always agrees with the subject. We have already seen that. So here the subject is in plural form. So therefore we make use of the plural verb here. Is, am, are. Are is the plural verb. So therefore we made use of our rooms are cleaned. The third form of the verb, past participle, by us. So that's the way to change when the given statement is in the simple present. Once again, let's see what it is. If the given statement in the active voice is in simple present, the rule to be applied to change it into passive voice is, am, are plus verb in its past participle form. That is the third form. If you are clear of the rule related to simple present, now let us move on to present continuous. Present continuous, remember, when you have the statement in the active voice is in present continuous, you have to make use of is being, am being or are being plus past participle. As I have already told that in all the tense, you have to make use of the third form of the verb in the passive voice, even when the statement is in continuous tense. That is what we see here. When the statement is in present continuous, the rule to be applied is being, am being or are being plus past participle of the verb. Let's see the example given here. First example, the farmer is plowing the field. Is plowing. The tense of the statement is in a present continuous tense. Is plowing. Is plus ing form of the verb. Is plus ing form, am plus ing form, or are plus ing form. Certainly the statement will be in a present continuous. So here we have is plus verb in its ing form, which very clearly indicate the given statement is in a simple present. And the statement when it is in simple present, the rule to be applied to change it into the passive voice is being, am being, or are being plus third form of the verb. So let us move on now. First let us find out the object in the statement given here. That is, the farmer is plowing the field. What is a farmer plowing? Farmer is plowing the field. So therefore we have the object as the field. We ask the question what or whom. So we got the answer, the field. We place the subject, the field, which was object over there in the active voice. We made that into the subject in the passive voice. And immediately after that, verb form. So subject, verb. The field being the continuous tense is being present continuous tense. So the field being singular is being. And third form. Always remember, even when the statement is in continuous tense, in the passive voice, the form of the verb will be in its third form, that is past participle. So therefore the answer will be, the field is being plowed by the farmer. Let us move on to the next example. 3 men are loading the wagon. What are 3 men loading? 3 men are loading the wagon. So we have the answer, which means we have the object. So find out, we have already found out the object as the wagon that turned to be the subject over here in the active voice. So the wagon, please remember, here it is are loading, because verb always agrees with the subject. The subject in the statement was 3 men. 3 men means plural subject. So that was the reason are loading is given here. Whereas when we change the subject into passive form, the subject has changed. Now the subject is singular, the wagon. The wagon is a singular. So therefore we have to make use of the singular form of it. So therefore the answer will be, the wagon is being loaded by 3 men. I hope you are clear of present continuous tense. When the statement is in present continuous tense, the active voice statement is in present continuous tense. In order to transform it into passive voice, you have to make use of is being, am being, or are being together with the third form of the verb. Now let us move on to the next part, that is present perfect. How to change the present perfect when the statement is given in present perfect, how to transform the statement into passive voice. That's what we have to see now. So if the given statement is in present perfect, rule to be applied is has been or have been plus past participle. Please remember, when it is perfect tense, been, has been or have been. In continuous tense we saw it was being, B-E-I-N-G, is being, am being, or are being plus third form of the verb. Whereas when it is in perfect tense, has been or have been plus past participle. When the subject is in its singular form, we make use of has been plus third form of the verb. Whereas when the subject is in plural form, we make use of have been plus past participle of the verb. Let us go through the example. The first example given here, Manish has helped Hari. Whom has Manish helped? We have the answer, Hari. So therefore Hari is the object in the given statement that turns to be the subject in the passive voice. So we start with Hari being the subject. Hari has been, Hari being singular, Hari has been helped by Manish. Once again let us proceed to the example given here. Manish has helped Hari. Whom has Manish helped? We have the answer, Manish has helped Hari. So Hari was the object in the active voice statement given there that turned to be the subject in passive voice. And Hari being the singular subject and the tense of the statement being here has helped, which indicated is the present perfect tense. So therefore we make use of Hari has been and third form of the verb by Manish. So Hari has been helped by Manish. Now let us move on to the second example. We have done our homework. What have we done? Our homework. We have the answer as our homework. So therefore, our homework is the object in the given active voice sentence. That is, we have done our homework. Not homework, our homework. Our homework is the object. So therefore, we make use of that object as a subject over here in the passive voice. So our homework has been done by us. Here it was have done, because the subject was we plural. When the subject is plural, once again, remember, verb always agrees with the subject and verb has nothing to do with the object. Verb always agrees with the subject. Here in the active voice sentence, subject was plural. So that was the reason we made use of the plural form of the verb have done. Whereas when we brought this object as a subject, that turned to be singular. Now the subject is singular. Our homework is singular. So therefore, our homework has been done by us. So that is what the rule related to present perfect. And present perfect continuous tense cannot be converted into passive voice. So we have already completed the rules related to the transformation of active voice sentences into passive voice when it is in present tense. Let us recollect once again. If the statement is in simple present, we make use of is, am, are plus past participle of the verb. If the statement is in present continuous, the rule to be applied is being, am being or are being plus past participle of the verb. When the given statement is in present perfect, the rule that we will have to apply is has been or have been plus third form of the verb. That's the end of present tense. The statements when it is given in present tense, how to convert the statement into passive voice. Now let's move on. When the statement is given in different forms of past tense, let us begin with the simple past. When the statement in the active voice is in simple past, the rule to be followed is simple past. When the active voice statement is in simple past, the rule that we have to follow is was or were plus past participle. Was or were plus past participle. You can easily compare and study. When it is in simple present, is, am, are plus third form. Whereas when it is in simple past, was or were, the past form of whatever was stated over there in simple present. So was or were plus past participle. Let's see the examples given here. The servant opened the door. The servant opened the door. What did the servant open? Servant opened the door. So we have the object as the door. So the object of the active voice tend to be subject over here in the passive voice. The door. And the tense of the statement is the servant opened. The verb is second form. Verb is given in its second form, opened. When the verb is in second form, the tense of the statement is in the simple past. And when the tense is in simple past, the rule to be applied is was or were plus past participle of the verb. So therefore the answer will be the door was opened by the servant. Subject of the active voice turned to be the object over here in the passive voice. Now let us proceed to the next example given here. He painted the car red. He painted the car red. What did he paint red? What did he paint? He painted the car. So car is the object. So please, object can be anywhere in the sentence. Don't think that the last word is the object always. It is not like that. Object can be anywhere in the sentence. The only thing that you ask these questions to get these two questions to get the object. What or whom? So here we ask the question, what did he paint? The answer is the car. He painted the car. So therefore the car becomes the object. And the object of the active voice we have to make as a subject in the passive voice. So therefore the car being singular was third form of the verb. So the car was painted red by him. The car was painted red by him. So once again let's see the rule related to when the statement is in a simple past. When the statement is in simple past, we have to make use of was or were plus the past participle form of the verb. Now let us move on to past continuous. Past continuous. When the statement is in past continuous, the rule to be applied is was being or were being plus past participle. Again let me say compare and learn. Present continuous it was is being, am being or are being plus past participle. Whereas when we come to past continuous, it is was being or were being. Being continuous tense, being, B-E-I-N-G. So the rule is was being or were being plus past participle of the verb. So let us move on to the example. The cook was preparing food. Was preparing. Was or were plus ing form of the verb. The given statement is in a past continuous. So now find out the object. The cook was preparing food. What was the cook preparing? Cook was preparing food. So food is the object in the active voice sentence that returns to be the subject over here in a passive voice. So food, the statement being in a past continuous, was being or were being. So therefore it is the food was being prepared by the cook. The food was being prepared by the cook. Now let us move on to the second example. They were laughing at the joker. They were laughing at the joker. Were laughing. Were plus ing form of the verb. Laugh, laughing. Were plus ing form of the verb very clearly indicate the given statement is in a past continuous. If the statement is in past continuous, to convert that statement into passive voice is was being or were being plus verb in its third form. So first of all, let us find out what the object in the statement here is. They were laughing at the joker. Whom were they laughing at? Whom were they laughing at? They were laughing at the joker. So therefore, the joker is the object there that in the active voice that turned to be the subject over here in the passive voice. So therefore, the joker was being laughed at by them. Please remember, laughed at by them. If you write the answer as the joker was being laughed by them, your answer is absolutely wrong. They are called the prepositional verb. If a preposition is added together with the verb, you have to make use of the prepositional verb exactly as it is. If you omit this preposition at, your answer will be absolutely wrong because there is a lot of difference in the meaning when you say laugh and laugh at. So, lot of meaning difference in the statement. So, wherever the prepositional verbs are, you have to make use of the prepositional verb exactly as it is. So, therefore, our answer here will be the joker was being laughed at by them. The joker was being. So, here it was were laughing because the subject was they. That was plural subject. Whereas, in the passive voice sentence, the subject is the joker. The joker being singular was. So, the joker was being laughed at by them. That is. Now, let us move on to the last part of the past tense, that is past perfect. Let's see the rule related to the past perfect when the active voice statement is given in a past perfect tense. Let's see. Past perfect had been plus past participle. When the statement is in past perfect, in order to convert the statement into passive voice, you will be making use of had been, perfect tense been. Had been plus past participle form of the verb. Let's see the example. First example is she had passed the test. Had passed. It very clearly indicates the given statement in the active voice is in the past perfect. When the statement is in past perfect, we make use of had been plus past participle. So first let us find out the object in the given statement. She had passed the test. What had she passed? She had passed the test. The test is the object. So the test becomes subject over there in the passive voice statement. And the rule is had been. Had been plus past participle. Whether the subject is in its singular form or in its plural form. We have only had in perfect tense. No choice as we had the choice over there has or have in present perfect. Whereas we don't have any choice over here in the past perfect had plus third form. Even if the subject is in its singular form or in its plural form. So therefore, the test had been passed by her. Let us move on to the next example. Example number 2. A bus had knocked down a dog. A bus had knocked down. Had plus third form of the verb. Statement is given in a past perfect. So let us find out the object from there. A bus had knocked down a dog. So a dog is the object here. So a dog, after that had been, third form of the verb knocked down by a bus. Here also it is prepositional verb. Knocked down. So you cannot remove this word down. You will have to make use of it exactly as it is. Otherwise, the meaning will be different. Knock is different and knock down is different. To knock down means to collide. So to knock means just to knock at the door. So the meaning is totally changed if we omit the preposition from there. So you have to make use of the preposition. So therefore the answer will be a dog had been knocked down by a bus. We have completed by now both the present tense as well as in the past tense. Let us recollect the rule once again, starting from simple present onwards. When the given statement in the active voice is in simple present, the rule to be applied there is, am or are plus past participle of the verb, the third form of the verb, when the given statement is in the simple present. If it is in present continuous, is being, am being or are being plus past participle form of the verb. When the statement is in present perfect, has been or have been plus third form of the verb. And we know present perfect continuous tense doesn't have the passive form at all. And as we move on to simple past, when the given statement is in simple past, was or were plus third form of the verb. And the statement when it is in past continuous, the rule to be applied is was being or were being plus third form of the verb. If the given statement is in past perfect, had been plus past participle of the verb. And past perfect continuous tense also cannot be converted into passive voice. Thank you. Let us stop for the day. The rest of the rules related to the transformation of sentences, transformation of active voice into passive voice, we will see in the next class. Thank you, dear students. A few homeworks are given in the school website. Please do solve these homeworks in your copy. Thank you and hope to meet you in the next class.